Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to another edition of Cageside Live. My name is Matthew Roth, joined as always by Sean Rueter. Uh, this is the Royal Rumble 2015, whatever, man. I don't know what fucking year it is. It's Royal
I
Rumble
don't
post
fuck it.
show. It's 2015. I really couldn't remember that. I thought it was still 2014. I wish it
It's
was.
because you're a hashtag millennial and you're
Yeah,
lazy.
yeah, I'm hashtag millennial. I don't care. I just want people to do stuff for me. Uh, this was this is the Royal Rumble post show. Um, Sean's here. I'm here. We're gonna do it. But before we get started, man, we're gonna get started right away. What a dog shit Royal Rumble. Like
Yeah, wow.
what an awful night. Uh, Philly can be a great city, or it could be a terrible city as far as wrestling crowds go. As far as sports crowds go, they're very unforgiving. So they and like even though probably none of those people in the arena actually ever went to an ECW show, it's kind of become like the spirit of the city as far as wrestling fans, and so they let you know when you suck, and that's pretty much what happened the entire night. Those fans were brutal tonight, man.
Yeah, they didn't give him much to cheer about. I mean, they
I,
gave him one match to cheer about.
they did. I mean, the the pre-show we had the Tyson Kidd and Cesaro versus a new day.
Part of it, anyway. They changed up their advance. This was an early sign that nobody knew what the fuck was going on, and the whole thing was just going to be sort of booked on the fly to a point that they already had mapped out. But
Right. I
because
mean,
this was supposed to be a six-man, and it wasn't.
no, it was a four-man tag. Um, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, uh, they're definitely the creative has nothing for you tag team, but they're
Hmm.
both incredibly talented. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
at least we get to see them. A new day, like that, we can call that a failure at this point, right?
I mean, they're gonna. I guess they're gonna turn him heel based on it's the only reaction they seem to be able to get. So I mean, I don't know. They don't. They have no plan for the tag division. The Usos are gonna hold the belts forever, and they're just gonna rotate in different teams to feud with them before they break that team up and feud them against each other. That's the blueprint. Sorry, spoiler alert. That's the blueprint for the next 5 years of the tag division in WWE. So enjoy your Jimmy and Jay.
I mean, but here's the thing: Jimmy and Jay are actually like they're at least good. Like,
Yeah, they can wrestle, but they got no characters and they got no stories. So who gives a shit?
right? That's true.
So
I mean,
I'm not blaming them. I mean, I don't blame spoiler. I mean, I don't blame Roman Reigns. We'll get to that later though. But
yeah. I mean, the pre-show, the Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, they went over. Um, Hopefully they can do something like because again, both of them are incredibly talented guys, and Tyson Kidd has finally found himself as a worker and as like an actual like character
hmm
NXT, and it's translated onto the main card and main roster very well. So while the match was very forgettable, at least them getting a win kind of sets them going forward to feud with the Usos. There was nothing else to talk about it.
no, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the show goes live and we got New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension, and
Even saying what was on the show sounds made up.
it really does, right? I mean, like,
I mean, the pay-per-view is dead, right? Because I mean, they didn't. This was not. They didn't. The undercard. They didn't even think about it. They just like took a shit and then stirred the shit up and then threw the shit uh, on the roster and then I don't even know what I'm talking about. But the New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension was the hot opener for the Royal Rumble in 2015.
and
That's
and
all.
and the thing is like Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, like despite being in their like late 40s, early 50s, uh, still better workers than Victor and Connor, and still better on the mic than Victor and Connor. Still, moreover, a decade later than Victor and Connor. and this is like supposed to be the match that to put to give the Ascension some credibility. It's like, dude, I really don't give a fuck, but like, I don't
Well,
care.
why? I mean, if you're going to book this, and I understand, I mean, everybody knew the Ascension was going to go. Well, who knows what the fuck they were going to do, but why book this after you job the Ascension out on Monday? Whatever you hope to gain by having them beat these guys, I mean, you already told us that they suck. JBL can beat them up by himself. So why do I care that they beat New Age Outlaws tonight? And they didn't even squash them. So
No, they didn't squash him. It was actually like a competitive match, so to speak, and literally every single Raw and SmackDown, we're gonna hear the announced team say that like they're so much better. That these guys suck. They don't deserve to actually be in the WWE. So it's kind of like, what? Why? Why are they here? Why are you putting them on pay-per-view? Like, look, I get it. They're like the Royal Rumble is one of those things where you don't need to put, you don't have to have like a super deep card, but like, really, like these are the guys that you're giving like they got 8 minutes to work. You can't give that to somebody else to do.
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like I don't know. Like this, you tweeted it. You put it out on Twitter that it's pretty clear that the WWE has like a grudge against the entire state of Pennsylvania. And that was after the Royal Rumble, but like just the card that they presented, like they don't give a fuck. They do not care about you.
no. I mean, they don't care about the fans in general, but I'm sure Vince is just going to be if he's threatening to not give Pittsburgh any big shows, then I guess he's definitely not going to give Philly because they didn't like this. They didn't do what he wanted them to do tonight, which I don't know why he thought anything different was going to happen. That's what's
Can
that's
we
what's
just talk about the
mind-boggling.
Royal Rumble, man? Like, do you mind like if
No,
there's
yeah. What the fuck else happened? The Usos won.
the Usos won?
We had a total divas match. That
Miz Down never got in the match.
right.
The Total Divas match was actually really good because, again, when you get just reiterating everything that we keep fucking saying every single goddamn show, when you give these women a chance to work, they can actually put on a pretty good match. And guess what? They did it tonight. They put on a really good match because they got like 8 minutes, 10 minutes to work. Really? That happens? That happens in pro wrestling. Women can work, and they're not just some just tits and ass for Kevin Dunn to jerk off to in the fucking promo booth. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, just fuck this entire show. I'm sorry. I'm pissed because I had other shit I could have done tonight. Sean and I both have other shit that we could do tonight besides doing this show. And instead, the WWE presents like an awful Royal Rumble, like an awful card, with only one actual good match. Which was a triple threat, classic match, by the way.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
but the final match, the Royal Rumble match, soured it. They're like, I don't even care about that triple threat match, man. I do not care. Dude, it could have been the second coming of Macho Man, Bruno Sammartino, and fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin in there. I would not care. Like, this is just that Royal Rumble match. I got to talk about it, man. Like, I'm legitimately heated about it because it's proof. It's legitimate proof that like it's not us just going like, oh no, like they really don't get it. Like they don't want our guy to win. No, this is legitimate fucking proof on your screen, on your fucking TV, on your computer screen that the WWE does not care about you. They do not care about your chance. They do not care about merchandise sales. They don't care about anything. All they want is the guy that they want to win. Guess what? His moment was ruined tonight.
Yep.
So anyway, let's just talk about the Royal Rumble match.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Um,
We can see if we have any energy left afterwards to pick apart the carcass of the rest of the show.
early
Uh,
early highlight, Bubba Ray Dudley. That was awesome.
hey,
Bubba Ray Dudley came out. That was really 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 surprising.
get the tables.
Yeah, he got us the truth. Get the tables. That was perfect. It was so dumb. It was perfect. And they did a 3D. Him and R-Truth did a 3D on the Miz. Perfect.
Yep.
And also LOL TNA.
Exactly. That was. I mean, I put it in my. I wrote a surprise returns thing on the fly, and I put in there the TNA Hall of Famer Bubba Ray Dudley showed up. They can't. They could fuck up a wet dream. I want them to succeed, but man, this is the world we live in. These are our mainstream, nationally televised alternatives. Are this show by people who actively hate you, and TNA, which I don't even know. They can't even find their own assholes. So how can they hate us? All right. Ugh. All right. So Bubba Ray showed up. Why wouldn't he? I mean, they should have saved. There was no thought put into this because if they wanted to, they could have brought him out later. He might have cut. I mean, that's an ECW fucking original. That man's a legend in Philly. He would never get booed. He should have come out and gave Roman Reigns a rub, but they have him come out early. They totally shoot that bullet. He's gone before anything that people are going to start revolting about even happens. But it was nice to see him. And
yeah, I mean, it was nice to see him. Bray Wyatt, he did what he was supposed to do. He looked very, very strong. Finally, in years, he finally looked strong. Curtis Axel, I'm still waiting for him to enter the Royal Rumble. He was never eliminated. He was
maybe the X-Man will come in and save us all, and we'll have Axel versus Lesnar at Mania.
You know what? That would be a better match.
I'm an Axel mark, so
No, me too. And fucking Curtis Axel would at least have a great match with as far as work rate goes with Brock Lesnar. So I'm for it. Yeah, but Axel, I guess he lost his spot to Eric Rowan. If you attack somebody from behind, you just take their spot in the Royal Rumble match. Apparently.
It's a free for all. Well, you can declare yourself for the Rumble. We established that all winter long. Roman Reigns could just come back from injury and say I'm in the Rumble.
Right.
So
it's true. The Boogeyman was there. Man, that guy sucks.
Yeah, I've never, and I like an over the top, corny gimmick, but that one's never worked for me. I don't know. And I thought maybe it's in retrospect now that we know how that Rumble ended, but as nice as it was to see Bubba and DDP, even the surprises sucked.
Yeah, I mean,
we only got 4 of them, and two of them were Zack Ryder and the Boogeyman. And God bless Zack Ryder, but I don't give a shit. Where's Randy Orton? Where's Sheamus? What the fuck? This was all about clear the decks of anybody who might take away from Reigns' shine, and then he still got shat all over. So fuck you, WWE, fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, like, no Randy Orton. No nope. Randy Orton. Randy Orton, is he even on the fucking on the roster anymore?
He was supposedly backstage tonight. I read it from a couple different places. But he was backstage at TLC too. I don't know what they're doing with him. I mean, he's not set up in any He was fucking hot as shit when he got written off. When the Authority wrote him out, he was. I mean. He had turned. He was nuclear hot with the Vines stuff. Now he comes back. Whenever he does come back, he's not gonna have any place in the storyline, and that momentum is shot. So that's a whole nother. That's an ancillary rant about things that I'm mad about stuff that didn't happen in the Rumble.
Yeah,
we haven't even gotten to the Rumble.
I'm mad about overall product shit. Like,
yeah.
Hey, you know what? You know what would have been a really good time to. You know who would have been a really good debut tonight from NXT? Kalisto would have been a great debut.
They could have. I mean, Finn Balor. They didn't give us anything there. Last year we got Rusev.
Last year we got year before we got Bo Dallas.
Finn Balor would have blown the roof off this joint. That entrance, forget about it.
Any of them. Any
Neville. Debut. Adrian Neville's ready. He's out of the title scene, I believe. Spoiler. I mean, he's got some good matches in him, but I think it's going to be Owens versus Zayn going forward. So you could have debuted him tonight, and they didn't. And he could have the crowd would have blown, that red arrow, hit that spot on a couple people, get a couple eliminations, then boom, you got him introduced to the WWE universe. They love him. Nope, didn't do that either.
They didn't. Nobody.
Nope, we needed Zack Ryder back.
Fuck, man, the broski boot.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
He did get all his spots in. He got his 5 moves of doom in, and then he got thrown.
He did get his 5 moves of doom in. And, I mean, Daniel Bryan comes in at number 10, and that's when everybody was really excited.
Mm-hmm.
While the betting odds were very, very strong for Roman Reigns, you thought, especially like, did you read John Snowden's piece this past week where he interviewed like Stephanie McMahon
I
and
read some parts. I read some clips of it. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing.
basically the entire thing is like, no, we recognize that Daniel Bryan is like a fan favorite. He's an A-plus.
Right. I read the A+ player quotes. Yeah.
Like the entire thing is about how like we were like the fans are the ones that did this. The fans love them. The fans, and we listen to the fans. And unless that was the most elaborate fan fiction in the world, and John Snowden didn't actually speak to Steph or Paul, this in my head it was Daniel Bryan. They're clearly going to have him face Brock Lesnar. Are you kidding? Like that's
They've leaked. They've let all those stories go out where Foley's asking for that, where Daniel Bryan's been asking for it. I thought they were prepping prime, and we could still get there. There's the two things I would say about the Snowden piece and the Stephanie quotes is one, they were Stephanie and not Vince, and the backstage scuttlebutt has always been that Vince is the guy who sees Bryan as too small and not enough physique and doesn't get it. So maybe that's it. Maybe Stephanie and Triple H do love him, and Vince is like, nope, I'm booking this Rumble, and he is not going to win on here, and I don't know. Or they are that high on him, and they think he's bulletproof, which he is. He's still over. His popularity is not hurt by tonight at all. If anything, it's enhanced. It's more of like an urban legend about Daniel Bryan, but that doesn't help the rest of their product at all. What everybody wanted tonight, clearly, was to see him win from 10. And
Hey, just quick aside. Fuck you, Reverend Kane. I see your comment in the comments.
what did he say? No, watch it. That's my cat, bro. Watch that. Watch what you say there, man. What did he say?
Someone, first time watching Cageside Live, someone goes, hey, which one's Sean? And fucking Reverend Kane goes, the sexier one. Smaller beard, glasses, no hat. Fuck you, Reverend Kane.
It's true. Come on, man. I mean, you're dead sexy, but I'm a little bit sexier.
Dude, I'm cutting the show off. I'm going to start snoring in a bit.
Just walk off. That's all.
That's what we both should do. Like, this is so...
Cancel your CSS subscription along with your WWE Network subscription.
I'm legitimately like, I'm giving it to WrestleMania, and then I may consider canceling my WWE Network subscription.
I mean, I get paid a little bit to write about this stuff, and I use it for NXT, but there are other ways to get NXT. NXT still shows up on Hulu the next night, and that's just one legal way you can get your hands on NXT. There are other. I'm not advocating them, but they exist. I mean, that to me is still worth $9.99 a month, but man, does this shit piss me off. I mean, I saw there's some, speaking of the comment thread, I mean, there's some people, taking me to task for saying that, WWE actively hates us. I don't know I can't read their minds. I don't know what they're doing. But they know what people want. And they pay us all this lip service about how, we have a test audience, we have a target, what do you call it? I can't even think of the word I'm trying to, focus group. We have a focus group every night. We get 4 focus groups a week. We know exactly what these fans want. Yeah, you do. And then this happens, which if you thought that anything other than people booing Roman Reigns out of the building was going to happen, you're an idiot, because not only did you toss Daniel Bryan early, the only bright side that I could see to that was that at one point in there we had like an array of young talent. It was Ryback, it was Reigns and Ambrose, it was Cesaro, it was Ziggler, there were all these guys that were like that should be the next main event crowd. So I was like, okay, so maybe it's still probably going to be Reigns, but maybe he goes over Wyatt at the end, who ends up looking super strong and breaking his record for most eliminations. No, what do they do with that? They have fucking 2 men who, if you add their ages up, I think it's 100 in Big Show and Kane, come in and look like fucking powerhouses and dump Rusev and Bray Wyatt, who maybe a lot of us will remember that they looked really strong for the first half of this match, but most of us and most of your casual fans are going to remember that they got thrown over the top rope like little bitches by 2 50-year-old men.
Yep.
And, yeah.
I mean,
at the end of the night, that crowd was cheering for the Russian heel to come in and beat your babyface hero.
I actually figured that when The Rock came out, He was gonna, at that point when The Rock comes out, rock bottom, people's elbow, all that shit. I figured that Roman Reigns is actually going to turn on The Rock. I thought that if because the way that the crowd reacted to him, you need to make a call on the fly. He's not a, it's the same thing as Batista last year. He's not a babyface anymore. Like he's not a face. He had the, he has more heat than anybody right now. And if he turned on The Rock, at least you can go like, that's our monster heel, which is the fucking thing that he should be. He should be a monster heel.
He
Not
may
some
end up one. I mean, because right now, the only thing I can possibly, I don't know. I think we're gonna end up. They're gonna have to do the same thing they did last year. I don't. Maybe it's not Bryan that gets put in this year. Maybe it's Rollins with the case. But if they think that they're going to headline WrestleMania with Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, especially if it's true and rumor starts to get out that this is really Brock's last match and he's headed back to UFC, because that was when, I mean, we shit all over that once before when we knew he was leaving when he faced Goldberg. This will be like that again, but it'll be your main event for the title.
right at WrestleMania, at your biggest show of the year, which again, the reason to buy the WWE Network is so you can get WrestleMania for $9.99, basically free, and you're gonna be like, and the problem is you don't have to worry about WrestleMania. You know what? Maybe the crowd is a kind crowd, and you're not going to ruin that moment at the end of the pay-per-view of him, of him raising the bell, on the turnbuckle. The next night, though, like the Raw after WrestleMania, he's fucked.
Yeah.
Like no, like I wouldn't even have Roman Reigns on that show if he takes the belt. I'd say I'd write it off some way like, oh hey, like he's hurt. He's hurt from.
I mean, the problem is, again, I actually feel bad for Roman Reigns because I don't think
This is
he's
not his
talent. I think he's got talent. I think he needs like 2 years to develop it, and he needs like an organic build where people get behind him naturally, which he was getting as part of the Shield. So you should have kept him protected. Even if you have to break up the Shield, keep him with Ambrose in a tag team for a year. I mean, I don't know what it is, but he wasn't ready, and they're pushing him, and so we're taking out our frustrations with the WWE on him. So, but that doesn't change the fact that he's not really ready for this spot. He might be ready for big feuds, but he's not ready for main event of WrestleMania. He's not ready for this. He's not ready for this.
I mean, so, this is completely not his fault. Like, look, if the WWE and Vince and creative are basically like, hey, you're gonna be the guy. Do you expect him to say no?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
so it's clearly not his fault. This is entirely on whoever his advocates are in the back that love him and think that he's ready. This is entirely on them. And again, you can like alter your direction midway through matches. Like you can call it audible, and that's what they should have done when the crowd just completely turned on him when Daniel Bryan gets eliminated and Roman Reigns enters and he's getting booed already. Like not even in the match as like the second Roman Reigns hits his music hits, it's just boos. Like that at that point somebody needs to be going, hey, we fucked up. We need to make a decision because we can't have the guy that we're sending to WrestleMania, the future of this company. We can't have him get booed tonight.
Yeah, and apparently all you have to do is get somebody else to give you your spot, like you said. I mean, Rowan beat up Axel to get in, and Miz was going to go in because Mizdow was going to let him for a second. So Bryan should have just gotten, Bad News Barrett or somebody to let him go in, and then we'd all be, they could have fixed it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so many problems. I think they thought, my guess is, I think they thought that Ziggler was going to help them, that like he was going to get a mega pop at 30, But I think that, again, they underestimated how pissed off people were going to be that you brought back Daniel Bryan just to shit on him again. Because that's the other thing. I think Keith Harris, I saw it on Twitter. It's not an original thought. I saw somebody else, I think it was Keith, say it, that there's no reason that they couldn't have left him on the shelf for another 2 months, Bryan. That was part of the fuck you, was he's going to come back and we're going to tease you, we're going to build it up and make you think he's going to win the Rumble, and then he's going to make it through like 7 spots and we're going to dump him. Why not just leave him? Why not have him be the big comeback at Fastlane and then build up his Kane program or Sheamus program or whatever they're going to have him do in the fucking mid card of WrestleMania, and then maybe we'd just be happy with that. But now you've set this expectation that he's back and he's, because first of all, he's never lost his fucking belt,
Right.
and that's the story that writes itself with Lesnar, or Cena, or Rollins, whoever. He should be getting a title shot at WrestleMania because he never lost the belt.
Yeah, because that belt is his.
Right. So I guess that could still be their out to write him in as they do a triple threat again. But I don't think you want to do 2 triple threats in a row at Mania. But, I guess I would think that you wouldn't want to have your babyface boot out of the building 2 Rumbles in a row. And apparently they wanted that. So what the fuck do I know?
Yeah, I mean, like when like DDP can't get a huge pop, and like this is the same thing as like last year when they trotted out Rey Mysterio at the end. I really don't think they get it. I think that Vince McMahon is so set in his ways, he doesn't care. Like again, I keep saying it, you keep saying it. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about us. About us, he doesn't care about anything. It's literally my way or the highway, and I'm Vince McMahon.
Yep, and he thinks he knows better. I guess he thinks that even if he's hearing these boos now, that it's going to turn around. I don't know. I mean, the thing with I'm a huge Rock mark, and I was not excited to see him tonight. This was horrible, and so that's what this makes me think. I'm not gonna Rocky's gonna be fine, but people keep saying, well, this is sort of like when Rocky Maivia came out, The Rock was debuted, they pushed him too hard, and so they turned him. The problem is that Dwayne Johnson is a charismatic motherfucker, and he rocked that heel character, and he made people love him by going that route. Roman Reigns is not gonna. He doesn't have that in him. He's not going to be a charismatic heel or anything else. I mean, he needs to just be a silent monster, maybe. But I think they're too stubborn to pull back and do that.
I think the dudes don't realize that that's the direction. That's the direction that they should have gone in the first place. I get it. You want to have like a Superman like monster babyface that go in the future, because I'm assuming John Cena is slowing down at this point. Or he'd like to not do as many matches.
Well, he's about to crush Rusev at Mania, so get ready for that, too. They set that up on the post-show. So.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Remember we called that?
Yep. That was...
months ago.
Yep.
Months ago, Sean and I actually said that's who's going to defend America is John Cena.
And that's the thing, is 90% of the time you can... And this is, I guess there's so many problems. One of the biggest problems is that you and I, who are just, when it gets down to it, we're just fans. We watch more than the casual fan. We don't watch as much as the hardest core fan. But we can sit here and we can look at your product and say, here's what's going to happen. We already know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm laying down at this point. I'm off camera. I'm so frustrated, man.
Matt's in therapy. He's seeing the doctor from the Thursday SmackDown commercials. What do you see when you look at this ink blot? Fuck you. That's what you see.
I see Vince McMahon not giving a shit. Look, here's the thing: the Royal Rumble, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin said it best. It's kind of like a big it's not a great match, and usually. The entire card built around it makes it like this big event. And it's not like tonight's wasn't that. It was literally the focus is on the triple threat and the Royal Rumble match itself. And you can't expect to go to these really, really, really smart crowds and present something that doesn't, agree with them. and that's what they did. You know, like we got a killer triple threat match, and I'm sorry that we're not talking about that because Sean and I in the past have said that like we would prefer not to not to actually shit on the product, but man, this is deserving tonight.
Yep.
Oh,
It was.
and apparently the page to cancel the WWE Network it crashed. So many people like so that there's an industry term for that, and it's called churn, and
Mm-hmm.
and that means that because of the Royal Rumble tonight, they're going like the next investor meeting, they're fucked. Like they are fuck fucked.
I mean, that thing's got to be coming up pretty soon too.
Yeah,
Oh, I and that the triple threat was
awesome.
awesome.
It was awesome.
Awesome. And it made Seth Rollins, which is that's the silver lining, I guess, to everything about the last 3 months of bullshit predictable booking, is that his talent is becoming so apparent that they can't ignore it. And I have to I'm not wearing a hat, but I tip it to you, my friend. The hat I'm apparently doing a podcast with just a hat right now. It's a talking hat, ladies and gentlemen.
Fucking that.
Um, it's a millennial hat. It's lazy, no
Millennial.
ambition.
So
Um, Matt called it a year ago, and I argued with him that Rollins was, HBK Jr. and he is, he fucking is, and it's fun to watch. So, and he didn't win tonight, but he probably should have. I think.
I
I
mean,
mean,
he should have, but he didn't. But the big thing for me is that he proved that he's going to be forever be a main eventer. Like
mhm.
this isn't one of those like, oh, I don't know if you're ready for it. Like, no, that dude is a main eventer for the rest of his career, and it's kind of crazy that he everybody was talking about Ambrose and everybody was talking about Roman Reigns and like not saying that Seth Rollins was like the forgotten member, but he wasn't cutting scathing promos like Dean Ambrose, and he wasn't doing Superman
He
punches.
wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't getting the big spots the way Reigns was. He was the workhorse. He was the, like if you watch baseball or whatever, there's like there's
The
the
small guy.
crafty veteran guy who can just do everything, but he's not a superstar. And that's what Rollins was in the Shield. I mean, he held it all together, but he didn't get the flashiest stuff. Ambrose got the promos, and Reigns was always the last tag to take everybody out. And now that he's alone and getting a chance to shine, he's. I mean, they fucked up Ambrose too. I mean, they screwed his build could have been epic. I mean, Rollins is a more talented worker, especially in the ring, but they botched the Ambrose build too back at Hell in a Cell. But
They
we,
botched.
we shit all over that then. So
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Like the hottest people that they have going for him, Ambrose, super, super, super hot, and they pull him off TV to shoot a movie.
hmm
Randy Orton, super, super, super hot, and they go, you know what? You should also shoot a movie.
yeah,
I wish I understood, man.
that's a really good point too, because and I think that goes the whole that's Vince's whole. I'm not in the wrestling business. I'm in the entertainment business, and he thinks that he can. The whole WWE Studios thing is him chasing that, and then this is also that it doesn't. He can have guys disappear. He can do. He still thinks he can pull a rabbit out of his ass and create the next Rock or Stone Cold, and he hasn't done it since those guys left. God bless John Cena, but he's not either one of those guys in terms of crossover ability and just being universally loved. Cena is someone who can universally get a reaction, but it's mind-boggling. It's the lack of competition. I don't know if having competition would drive Vince and the WWE to be better, but if they had had anything resembling a real competitor, they probably would have lapped him by now.
I just think that there's this is the first time in years that they've had legitimate talent. Like the low card, the mid card should be just bananas every single night.
Mm-hmm.
Like
They have the top. I mean, the top to bottom talent on this roster is sick.
yeah, like better than ever,
Mm-hmm.
and and they literally can't do anything with it. Think of again just this pay per view in general. There's there was no cohesion to it, and there's no stories leading into anything. And again, when you have the kind of talent that you have on the roster, you can tell so many stories. And if you're in the entertainment business and you're not in the wrestling business, you still have that ability to do that.
Yep.
But you can present something to like what we've talked about with NXT. You and I, there's something there for everybody.
Yep. And they
And
do it. And they do it in a fraction of the amount of time.
fraction the amount of time and the amount of money.
Yep.
And they tonight they don't care. They do not care about you. They do not care about us. They do not care about the people that are actually watching their product. They do not care. It's literally just, hey, we're this is what we're gonna do, and you're paying money to for the network, so we don't care what you think.
Yep. So,
Do you want to
so
talk?
a good question that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
What were you gonna say? And then we'll continue.
There's a couple of people have brought it up in the thread, and it is worth talking about. I don't know if you saw the interview that Rock and Reigns did with Todd Phillips on the post show, where Rock.
I saw a little bit of it, and The Rock seemed to be trying to like save Roman Reigns.
I guess so, and Rock was also sort of in Hollywood Rock, like Dick. I mean, he was trashing Phillips, just making fun of him and saying he had a dumb face, and he got a couple of his Attitude Era, like bitches comments and things like that in, but it wasn't a clear cut babyface thing. So I don't think that's an indicator that they're going to necessarily turn Rock heel. I mean, that they're going to try to turn Roman heel right away. I think that was my read on that. Almost was that was a little bit of frustration coming out of those guys, that they didn't know exactly what to do, so they were going to like ham it up. Again, and I don't think turning Roman heel is the answer, because I don't think he can pull that off.
No.
I don't think. I mean, he's not going to cut great heel promos just all of a sudden either. So he was better at that in FCW and NXT. I mean, he played like an MVP kind of a character. But I think it's too. I don't know. I guess it's possible, because Lesnar's been getting some face pops with his, just come out and kick everyone's ass, and since he's sort of been set against the authority a little bit, so anything's possible. But that to me, that the post show segment to me just sort of looked like that was two guys that were a little frustrated that the plan didn't work. And I think Rock knew exactly what was going on out there, but doesn't mean it isn't frustrating.
Yeah, and again, like this is 100% entirely on the WWE, because they set Roman Reigns out for failure, and so like Roman Reigns kind of looked like he was going to cry. Like if you watched his his moment, because that's his moment at the end of the Rumble, it looks like he's about to cry.
Yeah, I mean, I think that had to be tough, and I think, like I said, I mean, I think Reigns was shaken. I think Rock was sort of pissed off, and I think I would guess that somebody who, and I'm gonna blow a little bit of smoke up at Dwayne Johnson's ass, but the guy grew up in the business, so he knows a thing or two. It's just like when Stone Cold interviewed Vince. These guys know. I mean, they'll show up and cash their paychecks and promote themselves too, but I mean, they know, and they know, and that's got to be frustrating to know that this guy was set up for this. I mean, his character hasn't been built. What is his character? He's sort of feuded with the Authority a little bit. He hasn't had any. His longest feud has been with Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know anything about him. He does a Superman punch and says, "Believe that," and says some horrible promos about fairy tales and shit. I mean, he's been set. I mean, this. Yeah.
This is the guy.
I think he was heartbroken, and I think Rocky was pissed.
Yeah, because like this is his moment, and like, look, it's pretend fighting, like dudes pretend fighting in their underwear. So like, this isn't real life stuff that's really important, but like it's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like until he raises the belt at WrestleMania, which expect that to happen. He this is the biggest moment of his career, and he and it was completely ruined because they if you never bring Daniel Bryan back, what you said what you said earlier, kind of echoing Keith Harris, but like if they never bring Daniel Bryan back, like they wait until after the Royal Rumble,
Hmm.
then there's no problem. It's whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
cool. Like Roman Reigns, congratulations, awesome. Like, great, fantastic. But they brought Daniel Bryan back, and they've been doing all these interviews and saying how we really think that he really like does belong, and like the fan reaction, it hasn't slowed for Daniel Bryan. If anything, it's louder now.
Yeah.
And no, like we're everything that you wanted, we're not going to give you.
Nope.
And I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to just talk about this because that triple threat match was legitimately like triple threat matches are stupid
Yeah,
because
they usually are. Yep.
like last year's at WrestleMania was awesome because it's two heels that are beating up the good guy.
Right.
Perfect. Uh, Tonight was three dudes that don't like each other, and so it wasn't like, hey, we're both gonna like wear this dude down and then like figure it out for ourselves. This was just like Brock Lesnar suplexing everybody, and including at one point J&J Security, like
Yep.
legitimately just like
Well,
German suplex both of them.
they're teasing a little bit of, I mean, just like a badass tweener character for Brock, where he just destroys everything in his sight and people pop for it. So, I mean, that's the other thing about this triple threat match. I mean, work rate wise, it was great, but it was also I mean, it was very interesting because they actually, all these guys had a story and they had motivations coming in. And like you said, it sort of twisted the usual triple threat narrative a little bit because it wasn't just two heels beating up a face. At one point, Cena and Rollins, who are, mortal enemies, ultimate babyface, ultimate heel, decided, hey, look, we don't have our only chance is to try to team up and take this motherfucker out because we can't stop him on our own. I mean, it was cool. It was a cool story.
And we didn't like this is the opposite of the Royal Rumble. This is like a real story with real like what we got was amazing. And this was like if this is how they closed the night, I think it would have been better, at
Hmm.
least like match wise. But again, I think that the crowd would have completely turned on all three guys.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been tough. I mean, yeah, I don't think. In retrospect, I don't know. Maybe you open the show with the Rumble, but that you can't do that. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they would have shit on this match, but I don't think they would have got him back. I think you would have had half the reaction to this match that it should have gotten if it would have come after the Rumble, because people would they'd just be, shell shocked. I don't. I mean, people barely got the motivation back up to boo
Right.
after Brian. I mean, they were just the Brian getting eliminated just took the wind out of everybody's sails,
Oh,
and it never came back.
completely. Like, you know what? Fuck Adam Rose, but at least you expect some sort of a reaction when when your entrance hits. Silence for Adam Rose, complete silence. Um, like DDP got a little bit of a pop. Dean Ambrose is the one that brought that crowd back to life.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
But barely. I mean, not a.
Dolph Ziggler's number fucking 30. The guy that's supposed to pinball around. That's who you have going for you.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, people wanted him. There was a let's the we want Ziggler chant ahead of time, but even that, they were just, I mean, people just, because first of all, I mean, I don't think there was ever. I mean, go back to Cageside's predictions for this thing. There were four of us doing it, and everybody picked either Reigns or Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
So going into this, those were your two options, really, realistically. I mean, I love Dolph Ziggler, but do we really think that they were going to give him a shot against Lesnar at Mania?
No.
No. Same thing with Wyatt. That story doesn't even make sense anyway. Same thing with Ambrose. If they were really going to push any of those guys, they would have pushed them already. They wouldn't surprise push them tonight. So it was
Right.
either going to be Bryan or Reigns. So once Bryan's gone, we all know what it's going to be, and it's what we don't want.
Right. Because again, we got teased with Daniel Bryan. Like Daniel
Yep.
Bryan is the first option. This is I don't know, like it says a lot that their cancel page is like shut down. Like that says a huge that says a huge amount about how the fans actually are reacting to this actual show.
Yep.
And
And I mean, just the triple threat was awesome, and the guy that went over in it is probably leaving the company in 2 months. So there you got that. And
so this
then what's Rollins' feud for Mania? I mean, Rollins is hot as shit right now. He's the best heel in the company because right now Lesnar isn't entirely a heel,
right.
and
He's definitely going to be a babyface against Roman Reigns.
yeah, at this point, I mean, Reigns gets better reactions from non-smart crowds, but he doesn't get blow the roof off the joint reactions.
Right, and again,
And this is going to mix in.
WrestleMania isn't exactly like the casual, like non-smart crowd.
No, no. I mean, it's a huge crowd, so it's hard. I mean, it's tough to hear any unified reaction. But I mean, other than shocked silence when Lesnar beat Undertaker last year. So, but that's also so. Hey, that's another thing. So the grand plan is also that they're thinking Reigns is going to get the rub. He's going to get part of the Undertaker rub by being the guy to beat Lesnar after he broke the streak. That's fucking company.
Look, but you know what? At least that kind of makes sense. At least that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
No, like at least that kind of makes sense that they're giving Roman Reigns that rub.
It does, but you can't just plop this guy in there because it
Oh,
doesn't.
he's not ready.
Well, and it's not going to work.
No, of course not. No, like, dude, I'm completely with you. At least their thought process is like you can understand their thought process. The big problem though is that, hey, how long do you expect that match to go?
Yeah.
Hey, Brock Lesnar kicked out of 3 straight AAs and a curb stomp, and like legitimately kicked out of that. Am I to believe that a Superman punch and the spear is actually going to finish him?
But Roman Reigns can do this
Yeah,
and then hit a Superman punch, and that makes it more powerful.
like
I don't know.
I,
And then he can do this, huh? Huh?
oh,
A little something of this, a little of this.
hey, ladies, fuck. Like really, like so he Brock Lesnar kicks out of 3 AAs and a curb stomp in succession. And how does Roman Reigns beat him?
Superman punch, spear to Superman punch. I mean, that's how he beats everybody.
So spear and Superman punch and spear more powerful than John Cena's AA at this point in time.
That's what we're gonna. That's the story we're going with, I guess. Unless they somehow. I mean, maybe they get Rollins in there somehow. I mean, that's the other thing. I don't really have a problem. I mean, I don't have a problem with Lesnar winning, and maybe it means that he's going to sign again, and we don't. Excuse me. This show's making me have agita. Um, Maybe it means that Lesnar's going to sign, and we don't know that. But all indicators are that he's gone. So why not have? And maybe Rollins cashes in between now and then. But why not let somebody else have that rub? And I don't. I don't know. I mean, and this is part of the problem. I mean, this is another part of the problem is that we don't build new stars because when this time of year comes around, we spend a lot of time dealing with people who aren't here the rest of the year.
Oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, WrestleMania is a babyface show.
Yep.
So, like
So
spoilers for everybody, but expect the babyfaces to clean sweep at WrestleMania.
So Sting's gonna beat Triple H. Let me tell you. I mean, they've actually built a pretty decent story with that, but it's not. I'm not that excited about it. At least not the match itself. Sting's entrance will be cool, and Triple H's are always cool, but Not that excited about that. We're going to get Cena Rusev. That was set up on the post show, which means Cena is going to be the first man to pin or submit Rusev. Um, yeah. What else are you going to get? Brian Sheamus, I guess, or Brian Kane, maybe. They've apparently still been working against each other on house shows, so that's exciting. That's a real good use of his talent. Ugh.
Roman Reigns, sorry, Seth Rollins has nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I guess maybe you could rekindle the Ambrose feud, but I don't know if it's going to be as hot now as it was. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's still got the briefcase, so I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of time to fantasy book how they try to save it and how we try to save it on their behalf and everything. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, this is the kickoff of the road to WrestleMania, and they've got a lot of angry fans tonight, and not just the usual sort of like we're kind of pissed off, but like fuck you assholes pissed off.
Oh, there's actually there are a lot of people actually tweeting about canceling their WWE subscription. It's amazing.
Is it trending worldwide?
Uh, People are trying to get hashtag cancel WWE Network trending, so we can actually track the amount of people that are leaving. Which
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
and Mick Foley is killing it on Twitter.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, he's poor Mick. God love him. He tries. I don't know. I don't know why anymore, but let's see. And the front page of WWE is more about Rock than it is about the man who won the Rumble. So at least they recognize that the backtracking has begun.
Oh yeah, completely. Nobody cares about Roman Reigns. I called it years ago.
So who watched Total Divas tonight? Just kidding.
No, you know what? I did. Total Divas been killing it. Total Divas been awesome, man.
That's because Paige is on there now.
Paige is on there, and she did her sexy like climbing over women thing tonight to Brie Bella, which I can only imagine is going to be on next season of Total Divas, with Brie Bella complaining that I'm not into that. No, tonight's Total Divas was supposed to be about what's it called?
Was this the one where Rosa Mendes kissed Paige or whatever?
Yep.
A little HLA. Eric Bischoff booked Total Divas tonight. Awesome.
Or Kevin Dunn did.
Or Kevin Dunn. Yeah, that's true. Kevin Dunn was busy whispering in Vince's ear tonight about how nobody really likes Daniel Bryan. So, God. Son of a bitch.
Like I have nothing left.
I don't either. I mean, I love the triple threat. I'm gonna go watch the triple threat again, and write a Raw preview for tomorrow that is gonna mostly be like, you know, they need to figure out a way to get Rollins and Bryan in a fatal four-way for the title at Mania. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe just do that. Maybe do that for Rollins and Daniel Bryan. Let them wrestle at WrestleMania. Don't make it like no concept, like no story behind it. Just give us a good old wrestling match.
Yeah, I mean, you can hang the briefcase above it, yeah, or whatever. Yeah, you don't even need to. Just have Bryan come out and say he's pissed off, and Rollins come out and say he's pissed off, and let him go, because that'll be awesome.
Perfect.
And we're gonna get it eventually, so why not start now?
Yeah, and legitimately, like, let us have a month and a half of build to that, and then they can steal the show at WrestleMania. Give them like 45 minutes to go, because like Sting and Triple H aren't going like the normal Triple H match at WrestleMania.
No, I mean Sting's had plenty of time to get ready for this, but he's not.
Even at his best, Sting sucks shit as a wrestler. So like this is going to be entirely Triple H carrying him. So you know what? Let Rollins and Daniel Bryan go 45 minutes to an hour at WrestleManias, and everybody's happy.
Yep.
I don't know.
That'll work. I don't know, man. Well, hey,
I have nothing else to talk about. I'm sorry, this is an abbreviated show. I don't know.
We went pretty long. I mean, there's not. I mean, the thing is they didn't give us much else to talk about.
It really.
So here it is. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it looks like there's more interesting shit going on in Philly right now than there was in the 3 hours that the show was going on. So check the site. We'll keep everybody up to date there. There's an NXT live event on February 11th, man. That should be good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Get together and talk about that one. Talk about good wrestling and how much we love it. Remind ourselves how much we love it again, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, and enjoy your not so much snowstorm tonight, man.
Oh, I know we're not gonna get anything. This fucking city, Baltimore, loses its shit when it rains.
And Pittsburgh
Sorry.
doesn't care.
Pittsburgh doesn't care. We just fight it off.
Yeah, we're supposed to get 12 to 8 tonight.
Yeah, you guys are supposed to get hit pretty good.
Yep, maybe 2 feet.
So I'm jealous. We're getting nothing. We're gonna get some cold rain, and they'll probably still close all the schools in the Baltimore area.
Wait.
All right, man.
Hold on. You don't live in Pittsburgh?
No, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and my family's still there. But I'm behind enemy lines. I live in Baltimore now.
I literally didn't know that. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I grew up in Pittsburgh, but I lived in Dallas, Austin, and now Baltimore. I'm a Steeler fan behind enemy lines.
That's how it's gonna be.
That's why that one time you tweeted something about, do people in Baltimore really make Philly's cheesesteaks this way? And I tweeted you back that you shouldn't be eating cheesesteaks in Baltimore. There's other stuff to get. So.
Yeah, it's true. All right, man. You have a good night.
All right, brother. Good seeing you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.